He had to trick a demon to get it, but once it rested in his hand, he was forced to fight an angel to keep it. I believe it, Chronicler found himself thinking. Before it was just a story, but now I can believe it. This is the face of a man who has killed an angel. What can any of them know about me? Kotei demanded, a numb anger in his voice. What can they know about any of this? He made a short, fierce gesture that seemed to take in everything. The broken bottle, the bar, the world. Chronicler swallowed against the dryness in his throat. Only what they're told. Liquor from the broken bottle began to patter an irregular rhythm onto the floor. Ah, Kotei sighed at a long breath. Clever. You'd use my own best trick against me. You'd hold my story a hostage. I would tell the truth. Nothing but the truth could break me. What is harder than the truth? A long, sickly, mocking smile flickered across his face. For a long moment, only the gentle tapping of drops against the floor kept the silence at bay. Finally, Kotei walked through the doorway behind the bar. Chronicler stood awkwardly in the empty room, unsure whether or not he had been dismissed. A few minutes later, Kotei returned with a bucket of soapy water. Without looking in the storyteller's direction, he began to gently, methodically wash his bottles. One at a time, Kotei wiped their bottoms clean of the strawberry wine and set them on the bar between himself and Chronicler, as if they might offend him. So you went looking for a myth and found a man, he said without inflection, without looking up. You've heard the stories, and now you want the truth of things. Radiating relief, Chronicler set his satchel down on one of the tables, surprised at the slight tremor in his hands. We got wind of you a while back. Just a whisper of a rumor. I didn't really expect... Chronicler paused, suddenly awkward. I thought you would be older. I am, Kotei said. Chronicler looked puzzled, but before he could say anything, the innkeeper continued. What brings you into this little worthless corner of the world? An appointment with the Earl of Badenbrit, Chronicler said, puffing himself up slightly. 3 days from now in Treya. The innkeeper paused mid-polish. You expect to make it to the Earl's manor in 4 days? He asked quietly. I am behind schedule, Chronicler admitted. My horse was stolen near Abbott's Ford. He glanced out the window at the darkening sky. But I'm willing to lose some sleep. I'll be off in the morning and out of your hair. Well, I wouldn't want to cost you any sleep, Kotei said sarcastically, his eyes gone hard again. I can tell the whole thing in one breath. He cleared his throat. I trooped, I traveled, loved, lost, trusted, and was betrayed. Write that down and burn it for all the good it will do you. You didn't take it that way, Chronicler said quickly. We can take the whole night if you like, and a few hours in the morning as well. How gracious, Kotei snapped. You'll have me tell my story in an evening, with no time to collect myself, no time to prepare? His mouth made a thin line. No, go dally with your Earl. I'll have none of it. Chronicler spoke quickly. If you're certain you'll need... Yes. Kotei set a bottle down hard on the bar. Hard. It's safe to say I'll need more time than that, and you'll get none of it tonight. A real story takes time to prepare. Chronicler frowned nervously and ran his hands through his hair. I could spend tomorrow collecting your story. He trailed off at the sight of Kotei shaking his head. After a pause he started again, almost talking to himself. If I pick up a horse in Baden, I can give you all day tomorrow, most of the night, and a piece of the following day. He rubbed his forehead. I hate riding at night, but I'll need 3 days, Kotei said. I'm quite sure of it. Chronicler blanched. But the Earl... Kotei waved a hand dismissively. No one needs 3 days, Chronicler said firmly. I interviewed Orrin Velciter. Orrin Velciter, mind you. He's 80 years old and done 200 years worth of living. 500 if you count the lies. He sought me out, Chronicler said with a particular emphasis. He only took 2 days. That is my offer, the innkeeper said simply. I'll do this properly or not at all. Hold on a moment, Chronicler brightened suddenly. I've been thinking about this all backward, he said, shaking his head at his own foolishness. I'll just visit the Earl, and then come back. You can have all the time you like then. I could even bring Scarpy back with me. Kotei gave Chronicler a look of profound disdain. What gave you the slightest impression that I would be here when you came back? He asked incredulously. For that matter, what makes you think you're free to simply walk out of here, knowing what you know? Chronicler went very still. He swallowed and started again. Are you saying that... The story will take 3 days, Kotei interrupted, starting tomorrow. That is what I am saying. Chronicler closed his eyes and ran his hand over his face. The Earl would be furious, of course, no telling what it might take to get back in his good graces. Still, if that's the only way I can get it, I accept it. I'm glad to hear it. The innkeeper relaxed into a half-smile. Come now, is 3 days really so unusual? Chronicler's serious expression returned. 3 days is quite unusual. But then again, some of the self-importance seemed to leak out of him. Then again, he made a gesture as if to show how useless words were. You are quoth. The man who called himself Kotei looked up from behind his bottles. A full-lipped smile played about his mouth. A spark was kindling behind his eyes. He seemed taller. Yes, I suppose I am, Quoth said, and his voice had iron in it.